Welcome to the many interpretations of.
Gala, Gallimimus.
That's right, the chicken mimic, a very small dinosaur that was easily nothing more than just theropod food. What's that? Gallimimus was the largest ornithomimid? It was a lot taller than me? It was like around 6 feet tall at the hip? That's right. Gallimimus is often seen as this type of dinosaur that's relatively small, along with other dinosaurs like Dryosaurus. When in actuality, as I mentioned in that little thing, they were the largest ornithomimid that we know of. Of course, there might be bigger ones out there. Regardless, they lived in what is now Mongolia during the late Cretaceous period, and they are awesome. I'm very excited to get into this, so let's get into it. We will start off with the land before time. So I'm pretty sure that these are Gallimimus, because many have said that they are Gallimimus. Plus, that's what a lot of things say, that they are Gallimimus. They are called rainbow faces in universe, I believe, and they're these fellas, completely naked. That's one big thing that you'll notice. Gallimimus most likely did have feathers. You know, other ornithomimids have been found with feathers. Gallimimus likely had them. We're going to be seeing a lot of naked Gallimimus, unfortunately. Aside from that fact, these guys look pretty cool. I think that they probably look decently for their time. I think, there was this huge point in time where, like, we were transitioning to more dinosaurs having feathers, and it was, like, hard to get to that point. It wouldn't really be until we saw the Oviraptor in the Land Before Time that we didn't really see feathers, I don't think. But their whole skeleton looks pretty good. I like the way that their face looks. I like that they have the rainbow coloration, and I like the fact that they're extraterrestrials. I don't know if I like that. I don't know if that you can consider that jumping the shark, but I was watching this movie the other day because, I have a daughter now, and I wanted to start showing this type of stuff, even though she won't remember it because she's still a toddler and she's still below that age where she does retain information or have memories, rather. Regardless, I wanted to show it to her because it's stuff that I grew up with. And the end of the movie comes, and these guys like teleport into space.
Look at what?
Beyond the mysterious beyond.
What is up with that? And of course, they allude to the fact that they're aliens and extraterrestrials. They allude to the fact that they know more than, of course, what Littlefoot and everybody else knows. They're these mystic beings and things like that. It's very strange. I don't remember that at all. I watched all of these movies probably about a million times when I was a kid, and I just don't remember that. That was strange. That was a reality check. I wasn't expecting it. Still cool though. It was still fun. I like their design. Their colors are cool. I should probably get back onto topic with that, but yeah, that's them. Those are our first Gallimimuses. Next up is the Jurassic franchise. This is probably where a lot of people were introduced to our old chicken mimic here. We have a flock of them that stampede towards Alan Grant, Lex, and Tim in the movie, and it looks fantastic. The CGI is incredible. Their movements look really good. They're huge. They're not these small little animals, which, of course, I don't know if you'd expect that. They're, of course, naked, but that's to be expected. But everything else looks really good. I also really like when you look, there's baby ones, and they have a different type of coloration. They have like some stripes. It reminds me of like deer spots when they're babies. The babies have spots to help them camouflage better, and then they lose them as they become adults. Love that. I love that they included that. Nice little detail. Of course, the same animal does show up in Jurassic World, and it seems like the design is tweaked a little bit. It has a little bit more of a stubby proportions and things like that. I don't think the design improved. I think it kind of went backwards in that aspect anyway. I like the more elongated, slender build of Gallimimus because that's pretty much what it had. So I think that Jurassic Park does a better does a better job in that aspect. The Jurassic World one isn't bad per se, and it still keeps the whole feel of Gallimimus, but the colors are tweaked, and again, those proportions are a little bit different. But that scene is just amazing. The whole T-Rex hunting scene and all that, I love that. I will say that about any scene from Jurassic Park because I just love that movie so much, but I do really like the flock scene. They're flocking this way, Now, we have a lot from Jurassic Park video games that keep the basic style of the movie, which is to be expected. I don't know if I'd really expect them to be, stylistically different. First is from Jurassic Park, the SNES game. Got very stubby proportions. It looks like it has some blue coloration, which is really cool. Then you go on to Jurassic Park, a Sega Genesis game, and it keeps that basic feel and idea from the movie. Jurassic Park arcade game seems like it has a stampede of them. They're flocking this way. Very good. Same with the Lost World Jurassic Park arcade game. Looks like they got some like bluish purplish stripes, which I think is really cool. Like that nice little added flair. In Jurassic Park 3 Park Builder, again, they keep that basic idea from the movie, so it looks pretty good in that aspect. In Jurassic Park Operation Genesis, again, keep the same idea. I like it. Jurassic Park Explorer. They seem to do a pretty good job at the size of Gallimimus. Like, that's not too far off from what Gallimimus would have been in life. They were huge. They were terrifying. Same colors. Everything looks really good. In Jurassic Park Builder, you know, they look like they did in the movies, just with some different colors here and there. These colors in particular look really cool, really eye-catching. And a little bit more stubby, but yeah, I like them. They look good. Then we go on to Lego Jurassic World. Love Lego versions of these dudes. Always really fun. And I think the Lego version does a really good job at harkening back to the original Jurassic Park. Like, this looks really good. This looks fantastic. It is really hot in here today. Hold on. Jeez, man. It is hot today. It is hot today. What was I saying? That's right. The Lego one, I think, looks good. It looks like it, you know, is reminiscent of the movie version, and I just love Lego versions of these dudes. But as you've noticed, there's been a huge lack of feathers. A lot of that is continuity, of course, because this is the Jurassic franchise, and Gallimimus had already been established to be featherless in that franchise, so continuity is great. All right, now here's the little heartbreaker in Jurassic World the game. I kind of like how he like holds his tail up like that. That seems very common in the Jurassic World depiction of the animal. You see it like hold its tail up a lot. That's very interesting. But you know, it has a very basic kind of bland color. The head is pretty stubby, all things considered, and it seems to lack a beak. Very interesting texturing though going on here. But yeah, you know, it's pretty standard. But then boom, we got flippin' feathers. Not necessarily the correct kind of feathers for this animal in terms of like, you know, its arms would be covered with like huge, what almost look like wings and things like that. But hey, I love this, and it looks like they actually gave it a beak, too. It's very crazy, and I just love it. Very peacock-like. I don't know. It's very charming. Very charming, incredibly stylized, and I appreciate the fact that it does have feathers. Even though they're not necessarily the preferred feathers, that's just awesome. You just gotta love that, you know? Just very cool. One thing I also want to talk about is, like, this is something that I've only ever noticed in Jurassic World Evolution, but I assume it might be true for Jurassic World. I'll have to take a closer look. But they actually gave Gallimimus teeth. That's one thing that can be noted, that Gallimimus had a toothless beak. And that's also, like, there's been a debate on what exactly Gallimimus ate. It had a lot of the same structures that many waterfowl have today, like ducks and things like that. So it seems possible that they would eat things like water vegetation and things like that. Things that are easier to chew and to digest and all that good stuff. Maybe they had some small animals here and there, but that's something that's not truly known. It's likely that it was more so herbivorous, but possibly omnivorous as well. But, you know, they're probably a strange diet. Who truly knows? Moving on, we have Dinosaur Train. Looks like her name is Gabby. Very good. It's mostly the colors that I like. Not anything too crazy. I think it captures the whole idea of Gallimimus pretty well. And then in Dinosaur King, really cool. Huge, of course, like a true Gallimimus. Colors are really striking. Lack of feathers, unfortunately, except for maybe a small amount on the head. You got some red and some black. A nice eye-catching color. I don't know if this was actually in the anime. I think this might have been in the arcade game, which I haven't mentioned that in a while, but Dinosaur King was an arcade game before it came to the anime world. So if you didn't know that, fun fact. Now, this is from the Carnivores game. Of course, with them being aliens, they are quite a bit different to the real-life counterparts. This one is significantly smaller than what Gallimimus would have been in life, but it keeps that very retro style to it, and there he goes. So young. So free. Yeah, not much can really be said about them. I think that they capture the animal pretty well, you know, skeletally speaking and everything, just with them being small and a little bit more stubby. But yeah, they have that very iconic look. And of course, they're just ambient creatures. They're just, you know, here to make the world feel alive. You don't actually hunt them, at least not in this, like in the official game mode. But yeah, I like them. They look good. And then in Ark, we have feathers. Like 5 little feathers on top of the head. That's something. Looks like you can ride the Gallimimus. I didn't know that. That's really cool. And it has the whole shape of Gallimimus. It is breaking its wrists. That's not something I've mentioned yet, but I have mentioned it in previous videos. They couldn't hold their wrists down like that. They could only hold them inside because they couldn't pronate them. If they tried to do this, they would be breaking their poor limbs, poor souls. But the rest of it looks pretty good. I can tell what it is, so that's one of the most important things. So good job in that aspect. Okay, now we have it in the aisle. And a lot of the aisle designs I feel like are very reminiscent of Jurassic Park designs, and that's very much true with the Gallimimus. Structurally speaking, it looks a lot like the Jurassic Park Gallimimus. It's breaking its wrists down here, lacks the feathers, things like that, standard things. But this is it as a baby. Bloop, 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 bloop. I love that. Look how satisfying that transition is, just from like the huge head to the very small head. Here's what the adult looks like. Huge, powerful legs, which is not something I've really emphasized yet, but that's something they likely did have. Long tail, elongated body in general. The way it's holding its head looks really good too. And the colors on this one in particular, I know you get to shoot, I know you get to change the colors, but the blue looks really good. Unfortunately, I don't have the opportunity I don't have time. Oh my gosh, it's raining. But unfortunately, I don't have the time to grow this guy, so we'll have to check out the animations from the little dude. And all things considered, I think it looks really good in that aspect. Like, the animations are very fluid, of course, as per usual with the Isle. And, I think it looks really good. And the way that it interacts with the environment, in particular the water, like the rain, it gets that nice little shiny effect, I think looks really good. And they kick. That makes sense for the Gallimimus. I love it. It certainly makes. It really feels like Gallimimus would be quite a kicker. It did have some claws on those toes, and they are very similar to ostriches who do kick nowadays. So I love these guys, and they're really fast. This one's really fast. This is awesome. I'm actually kind of just having a fun time right now, just running around. I'm out of stamina, but that was amazing. But yeah, that is the Isle Gallimimus. Can't even hear it. Prehistoric Kingdom might officially one day have it, and this is it. This is the one. This is the best looking one. Look at this beauty. Feathered, completely feathered. Well, not necessarily completely. They're a little bit more sparse in featheration. Feathering. I don't know if federation's a word. Like the legs are completely exposed, kind of like ostriches, which fair. That's fair. Honestly, the whole type of feathering kind of reminds me of ostriches. This looks so cool. Of course, if this eventually does come to the game, it will look different, I'm sure. But if they keep this whole basic idea, that's basically it. You have more of an elongated body. I like how it's more horizontal rather than being a little bit more held up in terms of its neck. The head looks great. You got that beak and everything. The legs look huge and powerful. It has a tail fan. That looks so good. This is probably my favorite one. And it's not even officially released, but I love this. This looks great. Just chef's kiss. More of this. More of this. There's been a huge lack of feathers on this list. I do hope to see that one day. I think that would be a great addition to all of our parks. So incredible job so far. I really do hope to see that. And then finally, we have Paleo Pines. And yes, we're finishing it off with feathers. Beautiful. Incredibly stylized, but I love that they included it with feathers. I love that it has the whole basic build of Gallimimus. The whole skeletal structure seems to match up pretty well. It seems to have a beak. Gallimimus did have a beak, of course, and things like that. It looks good. It looks really good. It captures everything that it needs to capture with Gallimimus. It looks like you can ride it with such a big ornithomimid. Again, that does make sense. So just really good job on this one. And that's a good one to wrap things up with. So those were the depictions of Gallimimus. Not too many, of course, and I'm sure that I did miss some. That does happen from time to time. I did have more troubles trying to find more interpretations of Gallimimus. It seems like most depictions or most media likes to depict other ornithomimids like Struthiomimus or Ornithomimus more so than something like Gallimimus, which is kind of surprising because Jurassic Park. So that was a little bit of a surprise, to be sure. Not necessarily a welcome one. Where's the chicken mimic at, But regardless, it was still really fun to dive into these different depictions and just kind of just look at them and see their take on the animal. And there was some really cool variety in this. Some of them capture Gallimimus skeletally anyway pretty well, while others not so much. But yeah, we got the whole basic idea down. But that's pretty much all I have for this one. Thank you guys so much for watching, and have an awesome day.